everyone, I'm Captain Logan, and welcome back to the covert and intriguing Comic Vault. Today, more Amalgam. We're taking a look at Bruce Wayne, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., mixing Bruce Wayne with being a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. This is written by Chuck Dixon, good choice, with art by Carrie Nord, and this is as much of kind of a Captain America comic as it is a Batman comic, because Bruce Wayne is dealing with, of course, World War II throwback threats, and the main villain in this is Hydra, run by Green Skull, who is a cross between Lex Luthor and the Red Skull, and I guess he's green because green is the color of money and it represents greed. And we're also dealing with his daughter, who's kind of the main threat, or at least seems to be, until a big plot twist at the end. Spoiler alert. She is Selena Luthor. So we have Lex Luthor, who's Green Skull, and we have his daughter Selena Luthor. So obviously she's a cross between Catwoman and being Lex Luthor's daughter. And it's kind of a curious comic because it's not just, there's a lot of Batman stuff here, and just like with some of the other comics I've reviewed so far, it's a very 50-50 blend between the two things that we're mixing. But this is unusual because Bruce Wayne is just Bruce Wayne. He's 100% that character, but it's a what if thing or an Elseworlds thing where he didn't become Batman, except that the bat is half the logo of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that's curious, and well, I'll talk about that here in a second too. So it's totally a blend of Bruce Wayne and a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and so he's got a lot of certainly Batman qualities about him, but of course the biggest difference is that he's a soldier now, and he doesn't have a no-kill rule, and he kills people, and the main struggle, the main internal conflict he's dealing with is how much that has changed him, and if he wants to be involved in this world of carnage and bloodlust forever. And if he wants to maybe eventually hang all that up and have a normal life and settle down with Barbara Gordon, who is another Huntress. I guess we have two Huntresses in this world. We have the Carol Danvers Huntress, who looks like the Huntress, and then we have this version who looks like Batgirl. And given that there's a bat in the logo, I don't know why she's not just called Batgirl or Bat something, but whatever. And she and Bruce Wayne are an item in this. And there is, there's all kinds of Batman references and S.H.I.E.L.D. things all mixed together. His background is simply Lex Luthor, the Green Skull, killed his parents, and he wants revenge for that. And so, and his parents were S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, so he just becomes a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and 6 months later, he's Nick Fury's right hand, and Nick Fury is just Nick Fury. And he's Nick Fury's right-hand man, and at this point, he is running S.H.I.E.L.D. And I guess my biggest complaint with this is there's not really anything special about Bruce Wayne. In fact, the main thing Nick Fury talks about as far as what kind of separates him and how he could tell that Bruce Wayne was going to end up running things later, it's kind of just that he's a rich guy. And of course he's determined, and he's got a one-track mind, and he's very driven by his revenge. But but the main thing Nick Fury talks about is just that he's rich and he can buy things, and he says he'll buy the whole world before this is through, and he's finally gotten his vengeance on the Green Skull. So I guess that's inherently interesting, or would have potential to be interesting if you kept going, because Bruce and Lex are both rich people that are using their vast resources for different ends. So one wants power, and one wants to dethrone the other and see him ruined. And, of course, there's not enough room to really talk about how that's really changing Bruce Wayne, and if he is becoming just as bad as the villain. That's kind of what I would think would be the natural, course to take this. Once again, it's another overblown comic because it's more about showcasing all of these different Amalgam characters and having a lot of fun references with all these DC Marvel things that we've blended than it is really telling a story, more so than the last one I did. I already talked about Spider-Boy. This one, again, seems to have some decent drama, and there's a lot of places that you could go with this, I think. But I think it's bloated in that it's got a lot of other characters that might have been interesting to see in their own books, specifically Dick Grayson, who in this is Moonwing. Because those are two things that just naturally go together. The moon and wings. I guess they're both in the sky, and so flying, even though the moon is in orbit. Anyway, so you've got a blend between Moon Knight and Nightwing and Robin kind of all together. So in this, Dick Grayson used to have the mantle of Moonwing, and then Jason Todd came along, and he has this horrible, tragic background having to do with Hydra. And he was experimented on. He was first, he was brutalized by the Jackal. I don't know why it's not the Hyena, because that's the Joker of this world, but this time brutalized by the Jackal. And I've got to find the name of this because it's hilarious. That's done in its own book. There's a footnote that tells us what book that happens in, and it is so preposterous. I love it. I gotta find it, because it's the Killing Joke, but instead of Batman the Killing Joke, it's called Dark Claw. And see, it's Dark Claw, and isn't Dark Claw's arch nemesis the Hyena? So I don't know why it's the Hyena. I don't know why it's the Jackal instead of the Hyena. But maybe that will become clear as I read more things. But so instead of Batman the Killing Joke, it's Dark Claw the Murder Gag. Yeah, and he ends up becoming Deathlock. So Jason Todd comes back to get his revenge on Dick Grayson. A lot of revenge things happening very conveniently at the same time here. And maybe there could have eventually, there could have, if you moved on with this, been a good parallel between Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne, or between Jason Todd and Bruce Wayne. And again, talking about just how far gone Jason is to Bruce Wayne. But of course, we just don't really have the room to do that. And so anyway, Jason Todd has, but the building blocks are there, so I gotta give it that. But Jason Todd is, as I said, Deathlock. He's been turned into that by Hydra, and he comes back to get revenge on his mentor for not saving him. And so in this, instead of being Robin and then eventually going his own way and becoming Nightwing, and then Jason Todd coming in and becoming Robin, we kind of merge all of that together, I think, where he's Moonwing, like if Moonwing was Robin, and then he comes back and takes that mantle again later. I don't know what he was doing when the mantle, maybe I just missed it. I don't know what he was doing when the mantle was taken by Jason Todd, but anyway, so there it is. I don't know why all of these different characters have kind of superhero aliases as opposed to just being S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and having numbers or just their own names. And as I said, I don't really know where the bat comes in. When I saw this on the cover, I thought maybe the bat was in the S.H.I.E.L.D. logo just because that's kind of cute and goofy, and that's what this is all about, is just blending stuff. But I didn't expect it to actually show up in the book, and it does. And then we have, like I said, the Huntress, who has a bat motif, and she's just wearing basically an alternate Batgirl costume, with a classic gray and blue color scheme, which I really like. And I don't understand that. I don't know where the bat comes from. I would have loved some kind of, I would have loved that to have been integrated somehow into Bruce Wayne's background. Like I said, we have kind of two Batmans in this world. Darkclaw and Bruce Wayne both have similar Bruce Wayne type backgrounds, but one is what if Bruce Wayne was also Logan and was experimented on and became a became a weapon and tried to use that for good, and that tragic character. And the other is what if Bruce Wayne had a similar background also to that. Just your parents got murdered when you were a kid. It kind of tragic backstory. And then he just became a soldier like his parents, followed in his parents' footsteps. And so neither of them is exactly Batman, but both of them are kind of Batman. Except, interestingly, I gotta go back to Darkclaw and see if he ever kills, because I don't remember. It seems like maybe that was a Logan that doesn't kill, so he would be a little bit closer to Batman, and this would be one that kind of ran off a little farther and has more of an ends justifies the means kind of mentality. And I think I might have liked this to have just to have been a fusion between Bruce Wayne and Nick Fury. I'm not sure why Nick Fury is also here, but I think he might factor into another book later on. So, like I said, I'm kind of exploring this, and instead of doing all the research before I talk about each of them, I'm going on an adventure through these and letting you guys come with me. So I don't have all the answers yet because I'm reading them as I'm going along. All in all, I kind of enjoyed this. I liked the premise certainly more than the execution. I think Chuck Dixon's writing is pretty decent. I'm not in love with this art. I think a lot of it is, and once again, pretty consummate 90s. It's just kind of rushed. It looks a lot of characters in the background that aren't fully rendered, a lot of just outlines of people, not a lot going on with backgrounds, a lot of kind of amorphous looking characters, and like weird facial expressions and things. I like stylistically it's okay. I just wish that it was a little bit more fully formed. I should also mention a couple of other characters. Tony Stark is in this, and he is, I should have looked that up. I don't know if he's a mix, if he's supposed to be a mix with somebody else also as far as his mantle goes, because he's in a wheelchair, and so he's been crippled, and he's in kind of a floaty wheelchair. And I don't know what exactly has happened to him, so I imagine we'll find that out someplace. I know Iron Lantern is a thing, and I don't know if he factors into that at all. But there doesn't seem to really be any reading order for these. You kind of discover things about other books reading each of them, and then you get to that and you go, okay, that's what that issue was talking about. So, like, any way you slice it, there's no, it doesn't look like, from some of the research I've done, that there's any like reading in a particular order so that you're never thrown a reference that you wouldn't get already. But I do like how they're blended together in that way, and it just throws you in and pretends like this has been going on forever. Another character I should mention is Nuke, who is also Bane, and it's basically just Nuke on Venom, which is kind of fun. This is a #1, is another weird one, because it feels like the big grand culmination of things that have been going on for years and years, even in the title of the story, which is a bombastic, blast-filled finale. Gotta love the alliteration. And so, it's, I say it's the culmination. It ends on a cliffhanger, like there would be more. Next month, 30 seconds over Metropolis, and Green Skull has shown back up. And I would have liked to have seen that, of course, because then you might have gotten Super Soldier and mixed these characters. Because, like I said, Bruce Wayne is dealing with Super Soldier's characters as much as anybody, very, very similarly to how S.H.I.E.L.D. stories would, of course, often deal with a lot of Captain America characters. And so I kind of wonder if the Super Soldier book is going to skew a little bit more Superman than Super Soldier, but I kind of doubt it, because he's a soldier, so it'll be interesting to see if any of these villains or other characters show up there when I get there. This one does not have a letters page. I'm surprised to see, or to not see, and those have been fun to read, so I'm a little bit bummed that there's not a fake letters page for this one. But anyway, that's about all I've got to say about it. Bruce Wayne, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Thanks a lot for watching. Sure appreciate it. And I'll see you again tomorrow with more Amalgam. I'm Captain Logan, and happy reading.